team. We are here for the D1 final for the men's division in this Midwest Rugby Union. Matchup is going to be between the Cincinnati Wolfhounds and the St. Louis Bombers. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined here by Lance Kavanaugh. Lance, we're already with the kickoff underway, so we'll get your thoughts here in just a second. St. Louis is going to be in the black and white, and the Cincinnati Wolfhounds will be in the light blue here on the left, and the Bombers are already at the 50, making their way downtown. A little bit of a high tackle or an offsides call already done by the ref leads to the first penalty of the match. But Lance, now that we have a second, what do we want to see for the final match of today?
I want to see the most competitive. I want to see the highest level of Midwestern D1 rugby. These are two great teams, two with great story histories. Cincinnati resurging over the last couple of years with the injection of some of the locals and college guys becoming part of the fold. Cincinnati beating a team that was destined for championship glory over the last couple of years, Chicago Griffins. They have proven they deserve to be here. This is going to be a great matchup between two physical and technically sound teams.
St. Louis in prime attacking position. They're right within the 22. They hit the center pod, and then they're already off to the races with the maul. The Wolfhounds, though, holding strong as the maul seems to tip to the right. They go ahead and they roll through, continuing to maintain possession here. Continuing now to chip away. Ball is still live and viable, so referee says continue to play on. St. Louis tries to cut back inside. A good tackle. Brings the center straight to ground. The number 9, Richard Felton, being patient at the back, looking around for options here as forwards continue to swarm over. They're right in front of the post, about 10 meters out, so still a lot of ground to cover here whilst the Cincinnati Wolfhounds hold strong. Big low tackles, though. St. Louis finally go ahead and they move it to the left. A nice little pin and pass. The inside center cuts back in, and that'll be the first try of the match. It's going to go in favor of Eric Davidson. But that's one way to go ahead and start out this D1 final.
Look how smooth that was, seamless that was. This St. Louis team has been surging all year. All year, this Cincinnati team has proven why they deserve to be in this moment. And look how easy, almost easygoing of a try as you can get. Move the ball down the field, take advantage of any penalties, play patiently, make sure you got the numbers you need, and there's no reason to really stress over anything if you have the proper procedure. Number 10, Nick Freaks, has been one of the callers for this team, has been stepping up in the big ways. And with him and his 9, who's taking his kick right now, Richard Felton, they're controlling the pace. And we already see early, they're very comfortable with each other.
Felton will go ahead and take this conversion. Goes ahead and makes the first motion. Ball looks like it's up, and it looks good. So that'll be 7-0. 3 minutes already gone here in this first half for the D1 Midwest Championship. So both teams are really just going to have to try and feel each other out here early on. You hear the cheers already coming in from the sideline here for both sides. All teams have really shown out with a very deep support system, which is something that we love to see, especially on this Veterans Day. Shout out to all of our veterans who are tuning in or watching. St. Louis now going ahead and moving it to the left. They've got some space to work it. They work it on the inside, and a gap opens up just slightly for the number 13. It's Greg Robertson. Trying to get in the passing lane is Rizzo. Rizzo's unsuccessful, which leaves a lot of real estate for St. Louis. Tackled by the ankles. Finally ends up hitting ground. They go ahead and they are going to look to move it wide. The number 10 gets it into the hands of the man with the original line break. Just a simple pin and pass. He's got some real estate out wide, and St. Louis yet again make their way into the try zone for a second try.
Okay. Okay. What are we watching here? Is this like Super Rugby players showing up to just play in the States. I mean, these guys look so effortless. All it was straightforward running, two hands on the ball, showing goals, everything you need to put a defender in distress to make them make a decision. And they literally did that from one side of the field to the other. By the time they got back to our near side, the left side of the screen, there was a massive overload, 3-on-1. Great play from Cincinnati, and it all started from their own end. It seems as though the confidence is here for this St. Louis team, and they look like they're raring to go.
St. Louis, coached by Corey Hammond.
Wow.
Belton will go ahead and set up for a conversion. Belton will go ahead and go to the boot. Looks like ball is a little bit short, so that's going to go ahead and keep our score at about 12-0. But the Wolfhounds are going to have to start trying to hunt down a little bit more success here. We'll take a look back at this try, though. This is just seamless and pretty.
It is no stress, just simple two hands on the ball, clear attack. The winger for Cincinnati, Whitehead, was overloaded, in distress. What a gather from Cincinnati. They have life, Darian.
Wolfhounds now looking at revived here as they are on the attack now, knocking at the door of the 22. They keep the legs going. The big men in the middle now are using it. The number 7, he's going to go ahead and take it right into the heart. That's Meyer. Meyer getting some good go forward there. Big clear outs coming in from Cincinnati. The Wolfhounds now using that inside charge. The inside charge gets them exactly what they wanted. That's Eric Day. Eric Day makes the day, gets some tries on the board now for Cincinnati, and the Wolfhounds are right back in this match. We're not even 10 minutes in, and we've seen 3 tries, Lance.
Darian, buckle up. You got your seatbelt fastened. You got your tray table stowed away because we're about to go on a ride. Both teams decided in the first 10 minutes they're going to up the intensity and put up 3 tries in the first 7 minutes. Not unheard of, but definitely a sight that we love to see here in the announcer booth. Day showing that he's going to have a day, hard charging run, and a stamp made by Cincinnati to say those 2 tries are just 2 tries. We can score some of our own. And with a chance to cut the lead down, fly half.
Looks like that conversion is good, so that'll keep our score 7-12.
Exceptional play so far. Both teams playing physical, straightforward rugby, doing the necessary steps. Support is always there. I've yet to see clean poaches or anything defensively that would show there will be some slowdown. I am excited for the next 72 minutes of this game. This is going to be a fun one, yo.
Seeing a little bit of confusion there. Got a little bit too much of the rugby balls getting tossed around there, but we've got it sorted. We're going to go ahead and get this back underway. Ball is up off of the restart. They field it cleanly right at the 22 is Cincinnati. Do a good job of using that footwork. That's the number 15. That's Baker. Baker not finding a lot of real estate, so then they move it now to their forwards. Montgomery's got it in hand. He's tough to bring down, but finally finds his way there. Getting caught a little bit flat. They go ahead and they move it now to the wing. Beautiful cut back inside. A little bit of a high tackle there. You have to wonder if referee noticed it. Referee does. And so that'll get a penalty now in favor of the Wolfhounds. It looks like they are hunting their way down this pitch.
Absolutely. The confidence is there for both teams. Support is there for both teams, but got a little high on the tackle for the cutback. Trying to make a defensive stand, and unfortunately got called out. Keep those tackles low. Have no trouble from the ref is the new motto for this St. Louis outside center.
And a deep kick ends up pinning them right back down in this end. Both teams repping the stripes. Very vintage for rugby. There's a contest at the front, but the Wolfhounds are able to field it cleanly, and the blue is off. That's our try scorer, Day. He takes it right into the guts of the Bombers. The number 10, he goes ahead and he goes for a little chip kick. The number 11 for St. Louis almost comes over the top of his player, Hammerschmidt. A counter ruck is coming in, though, from the Wolfhounds. Things are getting a little bit messy, so the fly half gives it to the big man. He cuts right back inside. Ball goes up. A ball is not taken cleanly, so the number 15 has to clean it up. He cuts back inside, does another cut. Just slicing through this defense is Baker. They try and use that inside gap yet again. Meyer, though, is unsuccessful. You see Karamoudi move it in to Day. Day is super hungry for that ball, but the Wolfhounds have some space to work with to the left. They do a nice little pin and pass. The big man, Montgomery, found himself on the edge. Seeing the Bombers try and come in, though, to contest for that ball. Unsuccessful, though, it'll be in vain, but a large launch coming in forces the number 9. Benager, he gets tackled to ground. Day coming in hot. The Bombers trying to get over top. No rights to the ball, though, so referee says play on. A lot of work rate coming in from both teams. Defense holding strong, but the attack maintaining possession. Will be the first to make a mistake. Player's got to find his way to ground. This is a maul, which means that all they have to do is they just have to kill possession. Referee blows it up, and that'll go in favor of the Bombers after a long string of play from both sides.
Absolutely, and that St. Louis line speed is starting to show a little bit as these phases creep up. They got to about 6 or 7 phases, and you start seeing guys really get off the line and really put the pressure in. Bottled up the lock from Cincinnati. Matt found himself in a very troubling situation. The former long snapper couldn't shoot the ball between his legs back to his own team, and unfortunately his maul is held up. Great work from Cincinnati Bigs. Or excuse me, St. Louis Bigs. Apologies.
Referee unhappy with the setup of that scrum, so he's going to go ahead and talk to the players. Try and make sure that everybody's on the same page. St. Louis, though, has possession. Captain Spangenberg in the back. We'll see what they decide to go ahead and cook up in the back row. St. Louis feeds it in from Felton. The number 6, excuse me. That's Albert. Albert keeps it in hand. Ball doesn't really go any places, and both teams maintained a lot of discipline under all of that pressure. So referee's going to go ahead and blow it up. St. Louis will still have possession of that scrum. But very impressive stuff coming in from the front row between the Wolfhounds and the Bombers.
Fantastic pace for the first 15 so minutes of this game. This is an indication that we're going to get a cracker right now.
St. Louis now with the feed. They go ahead and they work it to the back. Albert is able to get it to Felton. Quickly met, though, is Karamoudi. Excuse me, that's Bakes. But an offsides call allows St. Louis to get a little bit more go forward. The number 9, Felton, picks it up, and he'll probably go ahead and look to kick this ball further downfield.
One thing is you can't let these kickers settle in to getting penalties and spacing the field out, gaining meters off of penalties. It makes it really tough for your defense to hold strong when you're giving up 20-meter chunks off of penalties. Cincinnati needs to tighten up, find their discipline here. Physicality is there, and they're really fighting hard inside of those ruck areas and really contesting, but you got to be disciplined while you do it.
Ball goes up. It finds itself in the hands of Spangenberg. He's able to get it cleanly. A little bit of a midfield head up found within it, Carradine. He gets met heavily, though, by the Bombers. A little bit of a gap opens up, though, for Schuemann. Schuemann is making his way down. He gives one fend, almost gives another. Did he get bottled up, though? He's met about a meter outside of the try zone. And now they're off to the races. Defense comes in, though, with immense amounts of pressure. Wolfhounds almost got the ball away, but it's going to be a conversation as to if there was a knock on intentionally. Talk about this line break, though, when it's
Skip pass, beautifully placed, 2 hands on the ball. This guy is manipulating everybody with 2 hands of the ball. This is fundamental rugby. And with his size and speed, it got him an additional 15, 20 meters. Great job by this St. Louis team by supporting and getting themselves set in order to go back. But the structure of this St. Louis team is dangerous. And the players, player for players, seem to know their place into it. We might actually see players comfortable with their original skill sets in a system built for them to exploit.
the Bombers now will set up for a scrum about 5 meters outside of their try zone. Albert is at the back there trying to keep it inside. We see the hand go up, though. There is an advantage, though, in favor of the St. Louis Bombers. The number 13 tries to take it right into the guts. He knocks it on, but it'll be in vain because of this advantage that started off with the scrum.
I think one of the things we need to be sure about, and everyone knows the stakes that are involved with this game. Winner automatically placed in the Club 15's D1 National Semifinals. So this game has extreme playoff implications because the winner of this game is only 2 wins away from a national championship.
They go ahead and set it up, find it in the hands of their captain, Spangenberg. He's going to go ahead and direct traffic. Some of the wings are coming around. That leaves the right side exposed. That's a beautiful space, though. That's a heads-up play coming in from O'Donohue, and that'll give them the 3rd try of the match going in favor of St. Louis. We're now at 17-7, and not even 20 minutes gone.
To be absolutely frank, this St. Louis team is well organized. The maul is set. Usually it is just a pushing game, everything set up for the backs. But look at the wing moves across. He brings 3-4 different Cincinnati players who detach from the maul, which gives an additional boost in drive. And once the hook is disattached, it is an easy fall down try. Caleb from Johannesburg, South Africa, scores basically a great team try with a little manipulation on the back end. One fun fact about our try scorer, Caleb, is that as a child, he had a mountain goat. We just seen him have a goat moment. Check out the manipulation from the wing, moving across from your right to left, bringing literally 4 different Cincinnati defenders with him. And as they disattach from that maul, St. Louis finds their strength, gets a push, an easy try.
Smart play coming in from both sides. The Wolfhounds are going to have to answer now, as we've seen both teams go back and forth. Unfortunately, it looks like that player got attacked in the air. Good to see, though, that he's going to go ahead and get up. Referee, though, is going to walk over and have a conversation with both sides. Not sure if he's going to go to the pocket.
This looked like a cheesy situation. Even though he went up clean, I think that his guy let him down. I don't know if there was much contact into the air, but I think that his lifter let him down.
Referee dishes a warning, so that player will go ahead and stay in, and so does the ball. The Wolfhounds go ahead and they elect to try and kick it. Under pressure, though, Stratenberg is able to field it cleanly. They go ahead and go to the boot as well. Everybody trying to get some of their own medicine here. The number 9 moves it to Day. Day knocks it on, though, and now the Bombers are off to the attack. They're right outside of the 22 now, and they've got some momentum building. The good drop pass, though. Spangenberg, excuse me, is met heavily, though, by the Wolfhounds defense. Wolfhounds now are going to have to really regather. They try and hold up the big man. Try and drive him backwards. They're successful there. Sea of Blue trying to come up quickly in the face, not wanting to give any momentum to this back line. Referee, though, sees a diving over penalty coming in from the Bombers, getting a little bit too anxious, too excited there in the breakdown, and that leads to a turnover in momentum going in favor of the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, once again, St. Louis set up, poised, ready to go after that turnover, but a little bit from the side. Referee can spot that easy enough. No arguments, no discussions. Great call by the sir.
Wolfhounds will go ahead and boot this one right on down. A lot of meters gained, though. Looks like both teams have a lot of successful kickers that can gain a lot of meters, so both teams are going to have to be extremely intelligent when it comes to their breakdown and foul play infractions. Number 2, Mullen, will go ahead and set up for this line out. Contest happens at the front. Almost bottled up. Looks like it will go ahead and touch the line and get knocked out of bounds, so that'll go in favor of the Bombers.
We're seeing highly contested play at every phase of the game. Lineouts, highly contested. Kickoffs, highly contested. Every ruck seems to be earned. I believe both teams know what's at stake, and they're bringing a level of fierceness that I really enjoy to see on these levels.
Ball now is in play after a successful lineout for St. Louis. They work it now into the middle of the field, and now it's going to go ahead and hit this sideline. Tinkering over there, though, is the 16th defender. But St. Louis do a good job of staying in. They've got a lot of real estate to work it out to the right if there's not a quicker fold coming in from the Wolfhounds. They cut back inside because of a lack of fold, and so they're going to continue to pressure on the Bombers with a massive clear out. End up getting the Wolfhounds out of that space. This is not somebody who you want to give any forward momentum to. He finds a little bit of a gap here, for possible almost high tackle. Now going ahead and moving it to the big men, the front row dynamic duo, Carradine and Harmon. Putting in a lot of pressure here, debatably forward, but referee says play on. Spangenberg. Spangenberg gets it. Spangenberg's almost there. He cuts back inside, gives it back into the number 14, and a knock on could result in no try. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about how they almost got there.
St. Louis team set up, ready to piece everything together. They pretty much put a center hit up in the middle of the field and deceptively went behind it. And getting around the corner, the 8-man Spangenberg gets all the way to the try zone, tries to find an offload to Mark Mean, and Mark Mean scores the try. I believe the ball was deflected by a Cincinnati player, but this is what I'm talking about here. Set up for the hit. Nick Feek setting everything up. They get all the way to one edge. Maybe a high tackle there, but St. Louis is already ready to take care of it. And to go from one side of the field, 15 5-meter channel, to directly to the other side of the field with a deceptive blocker play in the middle, using your forwards as a hit-up deception pod to get around the corner. This team is running on all cylinders right now. As you see, they go out of the back of that forward pack, and they all could be seen as a little forward. Maybe his momentum will stop. Who knows?
This is watch the end of the number 14, Lance. Watch the number 14. It almost looks like he knocks it on. Watch.
The ball got hit
right
there from that Cincinnati guy on the inside. Puts his hands, number 11 from Cincinnati, gets his hands on the ball, and that's not a knock on, ladies and gentlemen. That's backwards according to Cincinnati. And because of that, and a kick, it looks like it got kicked on a few feet, and he lands right on top of it. Side judge maybe gave the confirmation, but that is a close play right there. Let's see if we can see it in full go.
Just a nice little action shot. Either way, try is awarded, and so St. Louis will now continue to lead 22-7 over the Wolfhounds. They're going to have to play a lot of defense here. Wolfhounds now coming up in a pressure defense. Looks like the ball again ends up coming off of the boot of one of the players. Referee's going to go ahead and take some time off.
Could be a high tackle. It looks like they ran face to face. I got to see the replay. It looks like they ran into each other face to face. He's asking for help from the side judge. We're not sure if it was a knock on and an offsides right before that, but boom, face to face, number 12, and he looks down at him immediately as if there was some kind of issue before, like a knock on that beforehand. Takes a shot right to the face, and number 12 might be seeing some cheese in a second, ladies and gentlemen, because that tackle was a bit high, a bit dangerous. Hopefully both gentlemen are okay. But it didn't look like he lowered his level. It didn't look like he tried to find a cheek-to-cheek tackle, as we were all taught. Referee goes into his pocket and, of course, gets a little bit of yellow on his shirt. 10 minutes, Cincinnati down big time. And now find themselves down a man. But right there, we're not sure if that's a knock, but yeah, that contact face-to-face is terrible. It's disgusting to look at.
Yeah, that's Mikanich. He'll go ahead and he'll have a seat for about 10 minutes, which is not something that the Wolfhounds want. Looks like the number 15 is getting a little bit of attention there. I think that's Schumann who's down, getting checked out.
Yeah, but let's
we'll
recap
go ahead
a
and
little bit. Let's look back.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll talk about these two teams that kind of competing it out, though. Because to be honest, we've seen a lot of really good rugby here early on.
Definitely. I mean, the simplest plays make the biggest difference. Committed defender, strong attack here, and the physicality. I mean, this is the D1 Midwest Championship. These two teams arguably are top 10 teams in the nation. And simple as it put, both teams are playing physical. Both teams are playing with a structure that I love to see. Fast, wide, expansive play. And even a little deception with things like the winger in this case, going left, dragging too many players from the Cincinnati side. Both these teams have a well thought out approach and a well thought out attack, and it's going to make for fireworks. I mean, we're talking 34 points in the first 20 minutes of the game. That is a blessing, and we are all allowed to see this great rugby be played in front of us.
And excuse me, that looks like that was the number 4, Brandon Chalker. He's going to go ahead and stroll on off because he's going to go ahead and get checked out by medical. So we'll see a substitute come on for St. Louis, the Bombers. Looks like number 17 came on for them. That's Liam Smith, who will be Chalker's replacement. They go ahead and they go to boot after a penalty. The Wolfhounds are going to have to play a lot of defense here with the yellow card due to a high tackle. Mikanich is having a seat. We'll take a look here at the D1 matchup happening between Buffalo and
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids for the Midwest D2 Championship. 7-30. It looks like Buffalo is running a mess. We'll go ahead and we'll tune right back into the St. Louis Bombers. St. Louis now on the attack after a clean line out. Moving it now to the right-hand side. Bex gets it within the hands of the number 15. The number 14 keeps it, though, and with him keeping it, he gets knocked out on the sideline. So now the Wolfhounds will go ahead and have their line out deep within the 22.
The pass wasn't there. Oh, man, the good job by Cincinnati. The defense swarmed. They pinned him to the sideline. That 16th defender, guess what? Never miss a tackle and always gets a turnover.
And Cincinnati field that line out. And then they also kick for the 22. They don't get it, though. Referee calls an offsides penalty, though, against the Bombers. And with a boot like that, found in Karamoudi, he's probably going to go ahead and look to gain some more meters for this Wolfhound side.
The mistakes are piling, and it seems that Cincinnati definitely has fight in them. You don't want to give them any shred of light. You have a 20-point lead early in the first, expanding on that lead and minimizing mistakes to keep a team like Cincinnati from feeling like they're in the game. is a big step and goes a long way into winning this D1 championship.
So that kick will find touch, and this line out is about 25 meters outside of the try zone, and it goes in favor of the Wolfhounds. Wolfhounds are set. They hit a middle pod. It's deflected, though, by the Bombers. They're swarming over top of it. A little bit of a knock-on ends up leaving it still with the Wolfhounds with ball in hand. They're still down a man, so they're going to have to find some real estate there. The number 7, though, knocks it on. That's Meyer. Meyer generates a turnover to the Bombers as they continue to play on. The number 13, he gets tackled back inside. There's a contest over the ball, but the number 6 for the Wolfhounds, he's successful. That's Tim Hunfield. And that's massive for the Wolfhounds.
Absolutely, especially after having the front foot on attack and being able to go in for score, to give up a turnover, but immediately before St. Louis can organize and get a kick and relieve that pressure, to get a turnover of their own. And now it looks like they're right on the doorstep. Could we see a maul push in right here?
That was the number 6, Jeremy Leber. Excuse me, a little bit of some mix up with the rosters, but we're figuring this out. Ball goes to the back. Day is there to save the day. He was the one that scored our first try for the Wolfhounds. So now they're going to be off to the attack. Forwards are there waiting, and that's the number 4. That's Chalker for the Wolfhounds, now continuing to move it to the left-hand side. They find some success there in Rizzo. Murphy is there waiting. He's tackled backwards, though. A big booming hit coming in from St. Louis, the Bombers. Ball ends up hitting the deck after a lot of pressure. Fullback has to continue to drive legs through to get any go forward. Day goes a little bit rogue by himself. He gets some success, leaves the ball back there. Vinegar gives it to his forwards. Do a good job of maintaining that possession. They found themselves in this situation before, and they are still down a man. Moody, he's got to take it in because of that pressure defense, and he's also without a center. Big hit, though, coming in from Albert, ends up causing a knock-on. And so now the Bombers have something to work with here. They're so explosive when they get ball in hand, and they've got some space to work, and that's Hammerschmidt. Hammerschmidt is making his way downtown, and then he's connected well with the number 10. Smart decision to go ahead and keep it. Fakes keeps it. Albert, after just causing that turnover, he's there to go ahead and move it to St. Louis. St. Louis is stringing some phases together very well. They like to go ahead and behind a couple of forwards. And then a good straightening line was almost debatably forward. Referee calls it back, but that was looking very promising from the Bombers.
Absolutely. Again, St. Louis putting together phase after phase. Sneak line behind the back, and that definitely was forward. But let me tell you, hold this line just a bit. We're looking at an extension of this lead. St. Louis, on all phases, have seemed to be almost looking unbeatable in moments, in spurts. Every time Cincinnati has something for them, they have a counter. Then they find a way to build phases and get down the field in huge chunks. Flipping the field just from ball in hand carrying says a lot about your team's attack and confidence.
So the Wolfhounds will have possession. They've also only got 14 players on the field here, so St. Louis have something to work with. The scrum gets wheeled around to the right. Referee is going to go ahead and blow it up after both teams kind of took that one and ran with it. But this Wolfhounds, that's the first time we've seen the scrum dominated like that. The Bombers coming in way too hot.
I mean, both of these teams look like I said before, they know it's on the line. There's a lot of effort being put out in every single phase. And as we look above, Buffalo, 23-point lead with less than 2 minutes to go in the Midwest D2 Championship. It looks like these ladies of Buffalo are going to take home a championship after the long trip to Illinois from Buffalo, New York. Congratulations to those ladies for being the Midwest D2 champions.
Referee, due to a poor infraction committed by the front row, You see that the knee hit the ground. That's dangerous for the front row of the scrum as well as everyone else. So Cincinnati, the Wolfhounds, will try and find some real estate from Karamoudi. He'll boot it down. It's a big kick. I will go ahead and hit it right outside of the 40. It's almost right outside of the 50, excuse me. It's almost like Groundhog Day, though, for Cincinnati. They get it down here within this end, get a line out after a poor decision by St. Louis. But the real question is, can they get that final matchup in? Unfortunately, they do not, because St. Louis, their front pod got right in front. Defense has been impeccable. The number 15 almost slides his way on through, but he holds on to the jersey. So now St. Louis are going to have to play a little bit of corral defense. They put the big man out there against the number 8 and against a winger. The number 4 come across very well. That's Tunnicliffe. Tunnicliffe brings him down. Looks like that was a knock on, so it'll go in favor of the Wolfhounds down here on the 40.
Yet again, we watching St. Louis flip the field, not by kicking, not by playing a ping pong game, tactical leg game. Instead, it is all about carrying the ball and moving it through to their players, attacking lines and finding space from one side of the field to the other. This is fun rugby to watch. Teams going whiff to whiff, full speed ahead, full steam ahead. The St. Louis team looks really dangerous.
Less than 10 minutes to go now of this first half for the Midwest Men's D1 Championship. Ball goes in. The men in blue try and hold strong, but just an explosive mess of things the Bombers just committed against these Wolfhounds. And so they'll now get the penalty. It goes straight up, so that'll be a massive infraction. It looks like one of the heroes, the number 3, got knocked down a little bit, but he's back up. But this scrum, the leg drive, and all 8 people are in. This is how you get those massive penalties whenever everybody's driving as one. They listen well to the referee, and then you see the back row who are just poised and ready. And the anticipation, I think, is one of the most impressive things about this Bomber side.
Absolutely. They're a well-oiled machine. Every sign that I've seen has shown that they're comfortable with each other, comfortable within the system, and they have each other pegged. Teamwork makes the dream work, and this pack of 8 are playing as one right now, especially.
Number 8, the captain, Spangenberg, he goes up. All kind of ends up getting a little bit messy back there, so there's a lot of bodies being thrown around. Looks like it was considered a maul. The ball pops out, though. Albert's got it, but he's swarmed by the Wolfhounds. Tumbles his way through. Continuing now to move a bit. That's Carradine. Looks like referee's going to call it back.
I think we might be seeing some colors here.
Unfortunately, we are trying to determine what this call is. So it looks like they're going to give a penalty in favor of the Wolfhounds. Karamoudi, yet again, will set up to go ahead and get some meters. Looks like we had a substitution come in. Mullins
He's
off.
had an active leg today. He's been really working. He's had a very active leg today.
Karamoudi boots it. Karamoudi, it's a huge kick. Looks like it went out at the 22. Went out right at the same exact spot as what it was before, right within the 50. But up to your left of your screen, we see Buffalo at your D2 champions. Looks like number 13, Desperanza, got woman of the match. So kudos to Buffalo. Job well done. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the Wolfhounds. The Wolfhounds are able to get their line out. Looks like Stradenberg is pinned down underneath there.
Get caught in a bad place,
like
players
Albert
on top of you. trying to seal the ruck, you get caught not rolling away. You got to make it obvious to the server you're doing everything in your power to get out of there, and it looks like he wasn't. Take a ping penalty, and back to the active leg of Cincinnati's kicker.
Moody takes it to the right, and that's within the 22. And just with the breakdown infractions and the lack of discipline there from St. Louis, they get about 80 meters within the last 2 minutes.
And they'll take those easy meterage. You don't have to work for it. No one has to get beat up for it. No one has to put their body on the line. Easy game.
Well, again, it gets caught up at the front. It looks like it might have gotten turned over. Referee might have called him for bridging. Looks like he lost his footing, got his hands on the ground. That was almost Augie Murphy. So now St. Louis get a penalty deep within the 22.
Again, St. Louis able to counter, found themselves back on their own end. No need to fear, no need to be afraid. They figure out a way to get out of it. That is a sign of a good team.
I saw it with my regular eyes, and I was like, wait, video.
We'll see a throw-in come in for St. Louis. They're right at the 40, and we've got about less than 5 minutes left to go in this D1 championship. St. Louis are leading 27-7. It almost gets lost in Leber's hands, but he's able to get it. But this allows so much pressure defense to come in from the Wolfhounds. They've been pushed very far backwards, but they leave this man open. Continuing now to fight through the contact. He keeps the ball in, but massive pressure comes in on a counter ruck. We've got to move it away from the pressure area, but Leber is met heavily by the Wolfhounds. The Wolfhounds sniffing out any space that they can. The number 10, Nick Feeks, he's got to go to the boot. He gets it behind the head, though, of the number 11. Looks like it goes out before the 22, so we're not going to see what we all love to see, which is the 50-22, but still, that's a massive feat, though, for the Bombers.
Absolutely, and, change the pace. No need to move the ball down the field with ball in hand. This time, they elected to go to the boot. They got it in every facet right about now. Let's see if they can keep this lead going. 20-point lead, less than 5 minutes left in the first half. Can Cincinnati squeak in and get points?
Leber gets it, tries to take it into the Wolfhounds, but he's unsuccessful, so it gets brought down quickly, and now the Bombers have to scramble. Massive pressure comes in, though, from the Wolfhounds. They've got to go ahead and set their defense quickly with momentum like this. They do. All eyes are up right now as Day tries to ruin that rock. See a little bit of some aggression going on there.
And I think for St. Louis, it's a bit uncalled for. You are in the driver's seat of potentially walking right into the semifinals and nationals. No need to get caught in chippy stuff. Oh, but he put it, actually he should get more than a yellow. 23 on the ground. Day, across the face, it looks like he might have slapped the guy across his head when they were both on the ground. When Day sitting on his back, watch what he does with his right arm. He's sitting down now, and right arm, whap. Well, I can understand. You know what, St. Louis might have to get into it, because that is something worth defending yourself over. Day finding himself losing his temper and unfortunately giving up a big penalty.
That's just unfortunate there for Cincinnati. They're down now with 2 men in the sin bin. They're also down by about 20 points. We also see a knock on, though, that goes in favor of St. Louis. They just are not getting anything to work with here. But we'll take a look yet again at this second yellow card for the Wolfhounds. The breakdown here is fine. Everything looks good. But it was the little slap, the chippiness after the play. But emotions run pretty high at this level, especially at the D1. But Lance, you've been in situations like this before. National championships on the line. It's just unfortunate whenever somebody has to sit out because of silly mistakes like that.
Yeah, you got to stay focused on the task at hand. What your team is worried about is more important than your personal feelings sometimes. Can't find yourself losing your mind, and especially with a team like St. Louis who has everything going for them right now.
Now a lot of defense to be played for Cincinnati, but they're trying to hold strong here. The problem is where is the Bombers going to find the overload? Beeks recognizes that there might be a little bit of real estate in the back. He chips up a little bit of his own. It's gonna get a touchdown right before it can roll out the back. It look like Mark Mean is swarming over top. So go ahead and be a dropout from the try zone. And who, none other than the number 10, Kara Moody. He's gonna go ahead and look to give a pretty decent kick. It's gonna hit the 40. And we'll see what is open now. A massive pass, about 20 meters worth. Allows them to go ahead and work it to the sideline. They try and keep it in. Hammerschmidt is unsuccessful. He gets tackled out of bounds, and that'll get called our half. We still have St. Louis leading 27-7 in this Midwest Men's D1's championship. We're 2 yellow cards in. Lance, some thoughts about this whole first half?
Well, Cincinnati has to figure out what is going wrong. They scored earlier, right around the 3-minute mark, and since then have been completely shut out. St. Louis, ball in hand, creating opportunities for each other, creating chances for themselves, and it's a reason why they're up 27-7. Outside of a valiant solo effort by number 7, as we watch right now, Cincinnati has really been blanking. St. Louis has been blanking Cincinnati and giving them fits in every facet. The deception off the mauls, the contest inside of ruck situations. Every time you look up, St. Louis is giving trouble to Cincinnati.
Stay with us here. We still have more rugby to come for the second half.
You know, we as a country, we've been at war since 2001. And I think that a lot of people who are not involved in the military really don't think about it.
Get across. House 19, but I'm saying, you know, we finish here, but we can orient up and then get eyes on the enemy. You know.
It's not on the forefront of the news anymore, but we have people out every day taking risk, and obviously sometimes they pay the ultimate price.
I mean, there's some hard stories in there, so they're all great guys. You wish they were still here today with you, but you understand, you know, duty calls, they serve the mission, and there's tragedy in everything, and you know, a lot of them died in war, others died when they came back home. And
we have our jerseys, and since the beginning we've worn a black mourning band, and that black mourning band stands apart as a reminder to us of who we're playing for.
Who are we playing for?
Marines, our brothers.
Right there. That's what we're playing for. Play with their fighting spirit. They can't be here. You fucking make it up for them right now, all right?
There's a lot of suffering and pain involved, but you try to bring the good out in every situation, and this is our way of doing it.
It's Friday night, what we come here for. That's the main event. And we go to the Legion, and we have the ceremony. Remember our fallen, talk about them, we tell stories, remember their lives.
Brett Beacon. Lance Corporal Richard Brustetta. Major Jeremy Grazik. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Green. Major Ryan Hansen. Lance Corporal Eric Herzberg. Sergeant Donald Lamar. Major John Lee. Captain John Maloney. Major Kevin Nave. Gunnery Sergeant Cap Pelletier. Captain Michael Quinn. Captain Patrick Rapico. Major John Roca. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Shea. Corporal Jared Shoemaker. Lance Corporal Keynote Snow. Major Keith Takabayashi. Corporal Tyler Trevelyan. Captain Al Ziegler. As we do, let's raise a toast. I'm going to ask everybody to stand. To our fallen. And as we do, first verse of the Marine Corps hymn. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles on the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
That means you fucking put your shoulder into every fucking tackle. You put your shoulder into every fucking ruck. You take these guys down. You don't do stupid shit. We run it up.
Playing a whole lot of rugby here at Chicago Blaze Stadium. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined by Lance Kavanaugh. Lance, we're here for the D1 Midwest Championship. We're playing with Cincinnati Wolfhounds in the blue and St. Louis Bombers in the back. But Lance, talk to us about the second half. The first half.
Well, the first half was highly contested. The 20-point score line says exactly what it is, though. St. Louis has been running away on Cincinnati, finding overloads, finding mismatches. Earlier in the game, in the first 5 minutes, Cincinnati scored from valiant efforts and through their forwards, but since then it has been all St. Louis. Even with a yellow card on the board right now, Cincinnati has to get back 20 points in this half against a St. Louis team who is poised, strategically set, and ready to go. This second half is for a spot in the semifinals of the national championship.
Not enough can be said about both teams as they've tried their best, but it just looks like St. Louis is just making more tries. They still have a whole 40 minutes left of rugby to play, but we've seen a little bit of drama here, a little bit of spiciness coming in from both teams. But the yellow cards have really done Cincinnati Wolfhounds in. They're down 20 points. If you look up at the scoreboard, 7-27, St. Louis leading. And the boys in black are going to go ahead and kick off. Moody, he goes ahead and he dishes out a kick of his own. It almost hits the sideline, but is unsuccessful. St. Louis, they're waiting, as now they're going to have to put on a defensive effort, still being a man down. Day, the number 23, he still is not in, but a big hit, though, coming in. This looks fiery from the Wolfhounds.
What a time.
Going ahead now to try and take it in on the hinge. The Bombers are not getting very much ground going there. Pressure defense coming in. You're able to get them back behind the gain line. And the fold looks pretty good coming in on the left-hand side. They decide to go ahead and try and take a counter ruck. Doesn't get them very much go forward. Man's open, though, on the right. He goes ahead and he just slots that ball out of bounds. So now the Wolfhounds will have a line out here right at the 40.
And just the last bit of that, they found the overload. 13, John Rizzo for Cincinnati, shot up, tried to cut the lane, shut the door, but they were able to get it around. If that pass goes to hand, we might be still watching St. Louis deep, and Cincinnati's going in for another try.
Excuse me, team. It will be a scrum, but St. Louis will be in possession. The boys in blue.
Binds.
Still down a man in the forward pack. They do well, though, to hold their own. Ball works its way to the backhand side. Karamoudi moves it in for a short pass. The number 13 now gets something going. Cooking up something is Rizzo. Rizzo with the Riz almost gets a little bit too much sauce on there, and now they're off to the races. Cincinnati maintaining possession well. They're going to go ahead and use an inside line to substitute for them. That's number 17. That's Hayob. Moving it now. They all look pretty flat, but they're going to go ahead and try and get it wide, but Mekanich, he's taken down quickly. We hear some players on the sideline calling for an offsides call. St. Louis definitely cheating the skosh, but only to maintain their defensive launch because Promise looks good from the Bombers. Ball ends up going straight down off of a mishandling, but it's a knock on. And again, we see the drama.
Hey, both these teams are fired up. Both of these teams are fighting for something. Unfortunately, if I was Cincinnati, I would focus more on the scoreboard instead of being about the yap, the talk, because as you can see, they have to show up right now, 20 points down. And early on, they have big tackle, double tackle with the leg drive, the combination of Samuel and Augie making it happen. Augie, a second generation of Wolfhound, trying to put the team forward and put his mark on the history just like his parents did. So great on them, but right now, St. Louis, 20 points and attacking.
Definitely about the idea of let the play do the talking, and St. Louis, they are able to get that scrum cleanly. Ball ends up going behind the back of the number 11 for the Wolfhounds. Cosman got himself in a little bit of pressure. He's down in the 22. He goes ahead and gives out a kick of his own. It stays in, though, at the 40, but they end up crossing the 50 now. A good straightening run coming in from the number 10. It leads to a massive hit from one of the big boys. It's the number 12, a massive hit coming in from Mikanich. He got the first yellow card, so he's got some stuff to make up for. Trying to use the referee as a bounce off. Right here we see a penalty, though. It's very quick coming in from the number 15. It looks like he might have gone a little bit too quick for the sir. Has to go through the mark.
No.
Hey, Darian, let me tell you, everyone's tough in rugby. The referee getting clipped and knocked down
Offside, 14,
still finds a way to get back up and get the job done. That's what I'm talking about, sir. Rugby tough. But Nick taking a shot in the center of the field. Doofa.
You want to know what's crazy to me is that referees, I swear, they take some massive hits because they're not expecting them, and they get up unscathed. Like, it's actually pretty incredible to me. Like, I feel like if I were caught in that collision, I would still be down, and he just gets up like it's no big deal and still keeps officiating.
At least trying to check if all my limbs are attached, but not him. Right back up, whistle in hand, ready to go. Good on you, sir.
Well done, sir. St. Louis, after getting a penalty, they boot it down, and so they're at the 5 meters. It is a clean line out going to Leber, but it goes down just as quickly as it went up, so now St. Louis are going to have to play some rugby on the ground. They're really doing a good job of hitting the hinge defense and getting that low body height. But they've got some space to work it out wide. They go ahead and take it right into the number 14. Looks like the referee is going to look at his AR for some confirmation.
That got a little wild over there on the sideline. I don't know if some arms got to swinging.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yep. So it's a goal line drop. Yep. We're touch first. Goal line drop.
some big defense coming in from, that looks like that's Wendell Whitehead for the Wolfhounds. Trying to find a little bit of space. There's a kick up for Tat that ends up going back behind the 50. Wolfhounds dished one. Looks like Leber might have knocked that ball on. Emmanuel Albert, excuse me.
And he knew it.
He ends up
As
knocking
soon
that
as the
ball
ball
on
hit
right
the
there.
ground, as soon as the ball hit the ground, you seen him just, oh goodness. And those are the worst, especially when you got an opportunity going around the corner. I mean, who was in front of him? He had a chance to either swing it wide or attack on his own, and those squandered opportunities just hang on to you a little bit. Hopefully he focuses on the next job as he moves to 8-man after starting the game as a flanker.
They've switched around the back row a little bit for St. Louis, so they're definitely using some tactics there. Maybe seeing some weaknesses in the Wolfhounds.
Absolutely.
So now the Wolfhounds are working their scrum, but that pushes their number 9 into a lot of pressure. The number 13, though, he gets around. Ball ends up going backwards, but the Bombers get it. The Bombers now have it. They're off to the races. They're over the 50 now after a massive turnover from their number 8. Spangenberg again in a turnover, goes back to Mikanich. Mikanich gets back inside, dishes it to the 10 and the lock. Number 9 moves it to his forwards. Forwards are there and quick with support, but the Bombers want some access to the ball. They're called off. Move it now to the number 10. He takes it right back into some forwards. Just ate that contact up. Gonna go ahead and slow down the ball a little bit, try and build some momentum here. Wondering if we have the yellow card back on. Looks like Day is not back, so they're still playing a man down here. Just trying to chip away at this Bombers defense, but they're maintaining possession very well. It's dangerous whenever the centers get ball in hand. Almost hops over top of the Leber. The number 13, though, just talking about him, he does make something work. The number 11, he's there. That's Marks Cosman. The Wolfhounds, they finally get some points on the board, but I was talking about him, Rizzo. He's got something special. And for the Wolfhounds, that work rate gets Cosman through for the second try, the second generation Wolfhound. That's an occupation. But Lance, this was something special.
Rizzo setting up the offense, crash ball to his opposite center, ball exposed, pick and go, and Jay to the Rizzo says, sit down, bro. No need to try to tackle me. Holds the defender, swings it out wide. Rizzo, Old Glory player, giving work for Cincinnati, giving them a chance to get back in this game. What an incredible phase of play for him. And they need more of that because for the first 45 to 50 minutes of the game, they have been outmatched. They need their shiner players to step up and be as bright as possible. And Jay to the Rizzo. He came to Plize and gets a bucket, creates a bucket for Cincinnati. Conversion to come.
I love that you did that. The number 10 will go ahead and set up. That's Karamoudi. Karamoudi goes ahead and he kicks it up. And with a boot like that, that's been on point this whole match, of course he's going to send it through the sticks. But Lance, the work rate of this number 13, that's his second touch of that phase of play. It's players like that that, again, we talk about let the play do the talking. It's seamless and it's selfless, which is exactly what the Wolfhounds need. And they did that, again, with only 14 players on the field. I don't think that Day's made his way back on yet. They don't see him on the sideline, so we'll keep an eye out for the 23.
That was a power play? That's actually more fantastic. Good job on him to give his team opportunity down a man.
Ball goes on the 22. It does not go out of bounds. That was a really quick drop.
It went out of bounds and he faked the throw in and dropped it. Confusing everybody. Why are you arguing it, buddy? Come on, Eric. Take a step back. It's all good. Eric himself played fly half. But look at the skills. And just briskly walks off. That's a troll job, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, nothing there.
Even though it didn't look
Wonder.
easy. Right. Okay, so the Wolfhounds, they just won it, and still maintaining his weight there with the fend. They maintain possession of the ball. They're going to go ahead and try and work it out wide. A big looping pass finds its way into the hands of the number 9. This is the number 15. He tries to move it back inside, but the other, his counter winger, does a good job of staying in that space. The number 10 goes to the boot. That's Fakes. Fakes gives a big eeks. Gives a massive amount of oomph to that ball. And because of that, we'll see what the call is for referee. I think that he might have.
You know what I like to see? I like to see all-out effort. This right here, we need more of that in our game. We need guys that's going to put it on the line. I mean, it don't look good on camera, but you know he's fighting for the boys for sure.
And now we are seeing a little bit of a chip kick through. And again, they find their way back into this try zone. The Bombers are really itching to work their way back in after Cincinnati just scored their second try of the match. Got about 12 minutes gone in this second half.
And we notice they're leaning to the boot more this later in the game as we go, which is a great sign to show that they want real control, especially after Cincinnati got points back.
Lolly gets it after Karamoudi does a little drop kick outside. It looks like Day is back in. Can he save the day for the Wolfhounds? 13-point difference for them. Seeing some massive contests, though, go in at the breakdown. They go ahead and find Karamoudi. Karamoudi has some time. So it's a big kick out on the 22. It goes up past the 50. And so that'll give a line out.
And while we got a chance, big shout out to Next Level Rugby putting on this production. They've been here all day in Illinois, just outside in Lemont, Illinois, at the Chicago Blaze facility. Great facility, beautiful weather, everything we asked for, and the production is clean and clear coming right at you as the hooker throws it into the lineup.
Also, we have some veterans on our crew, including our big man, the boss. So a big shout out to all of our veterans, the selfless protectors. Not enough can be said about their ability to give us exactly what we need. So kudos. Game is back underway, though, as ball moves to the left-hand side. A little bit of a kick through to keep the ball in play. We hear the loud ring of the whistle. Infringement looks like it happened right outside of the 50 in favor of the St. Louis Bombers after a no-rep tackle. Referee yet again
The penalty this time,
that day.
This time is against 4 blue for off the ball, a shove after the pass. Just make sure both teams are playing in focus play. Take 30 seconds. Take 30 seconds.
Thought that Day was walking over for an infringement, so I got kind of nervous if he was going in the pocket, but it's for the number 4. Yeah, hits late.
Time's on.
Referee, again, these infringements happening right in front of the sir.
It's not a good sign when the ref is asking for a break of play so that the players can tell each other to calm down and sit in. That is a frustrated ref. And let's see how he carries it. Let's see if he gets the reaching in pockets going forward.
Keep me posted. That's good. Thank you.
We've already seen 2 yellow cards going in favor for the Wolfhounds, so they're going to have to be impeccable with their defense, especially seeing as how this game is still rather close. Ball goes up in the middle of the line out. They're taken down cleanly and quickly by the Wolfhounds. Wolfhounds now having to regather on defense, and this is going to be desperate times. They've got to defend this try zone.
Thank you.
And Albert maintaining possession of that ball. They're about 10 meters out. They go ahead and they go to the back. Quick hands. Give a lot of space on the outside, but he's still got a lot of work to do. About 5 meters out after a good cut back in. Gets him a lot more go forward. Big man up front, Harmon. Trying to work his way in. We see forwards kind of cheating in. But the Wolfhounds cannot take their eyes away from the back line. Also can't take their eyes off of this man, that's Albert. He's gonna go ahead and get the try for the Bombers.
The former Lindenwood standout MLR player for the Houston SaberCats drives himself and his team in for additional points. This forward pack from the St. Louis team seems to be almost insurmountable for Cincinnati. They've been playing bully ball in a lot of phases, and down deep in their own end, they go for driving balls. Few players get low, but he stretches it, shrugs off one, and unfortunately they can't get underneath. And St. Louis, again, adding to their total.
Kick to come now from the number 9, Felton. As our score continues to go in favor for the Bombers. Looks like conversion is no good. So our score will still remain 14-7. I think that Albert heard me talking about how the backs are trying to make space.
Again,
he just
look at
takes
the
that
leg
space all on
drive.
his own.
Right, look at the latch and the leg drive. Fundamentally sound. No need to over-resource rucks. Just play fundamental rugby, hard charging, and you get your point. St. Louis is ready to go. It looks like they're preparing for a big test headed into the semifinals right now.
Take it in.
32-14, Cincinnati are gonna have to play a lot of desperate but smart rugby. We've got a lot of time though to burn here as Kara Moody has to gather it. He put himself under a lot of pressure, trying to shake his way out of the defender. St. Louis smothers him. They've got some space to work it out left. They get caught a little flat though.
Pass the ball. Timing's fine.
Day cuts back in, cuts around, tries to offload it to the number 13. Rizzo almost works it back inside. All is becoming under a lot of pressure. So the number 15, the fullback, moves it away. It's gonna go to Feeks. Feeks boots it. Gonna be all the way down between the 40 and the 22.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. What's the good line out now?
It's a pretty strong phase of play for St. Louis. Getting the ball back, keeping it, moving the ball away from that danger, away from that turnover, moving it all the way to the other side of the field. The leader, the tempo man, Nick Feeks, decides to get the boot on it. And again, Cincinnati stuck in their own half of the field with a line out to come, having to go the entire length basically in order to get points.
Ball goes up, almost treated like a hot potato until a Wolfhound finally grabs it. Moody recognizes that there might be a little bit of space behind. He makes their full back. That's Schumann. Schumann is under so much pressure along with the Bombers. We hear that the referee says that the ball was kicked forward. Day does a behind the back pass. Lance, you called it. You called it.
That's what we needed.
All for it to get bottled into touch by the Bombers. Lance, you asked, and they said you shall receive on that play.
Listen, that's the only thing this game was missing, is a little bit of that flair, a little bit of that skill, and big man got caught on the edge, almost driven out of bounds, but with a little bit of presence of mind and a little dexterity, throws the ball out the back. Phenomenal play, but unfortunately, they actually got to keep the ball too. Look at that, keeping it inbounds, tipping toes, and the one-handed catch was actually saucy as well. But the ballerina toes on the sideline. Good job.
Now Tanfield, he gets the ball down Off of the line out. Looks like there was a smack, though, coming in from one of the Bombers. And we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that last play. Things got very messy.
Penalty. In some cases, it could be worse, but a penalty is a good call there. Seems unnecessary. Your team is in a great position right now. No need to try. Any defensive desperation at this point for St. Louis is unnecessary. They can play straight up and handle business. Let's see how they handle the rest of the next 20 minutes, yeah?
Bombers, they use the big man in the front after no real estate was back behind the other two pods. They go ahead and they use more of their forwards, though. They're over the 40, going out and moving it to the centers. It's a lot of pressure, though, coming in from the Bombers. It looks like they might have snuffed this ball. Massive waves of the counter ruck come in. Holding on to it, though, is the number 3. That's Rogers, but it looks like referee deemed it as forward. Those flat lines, while sometimes they work so well, sometimes they do not. Take a look here at the play again.
And I mean, just looking at the circumstances, you got numbers. You don't have to throw that forward. The guy out the back is a great option. The skip pass is a great option. Of course, from the seat I'm sitting in with no danger and defenders in front of me, everything's a good option. But unfortunately, just a little forward, giving the ball away. And St. Louis, again, opportunity for them to push Cincinnati deep in their own end.
We have a lot to say up here, but these athletes have been playing rugby for the last 60 minutes. They've had to play a lot of rugby in order to get here. A lot of tired minds, a lot of tired bodies. And it's still a relatively close game. Cincinnati is down 14-32. And the last 20 minutes are really going to be a no-all, end-all. We saw St. Louis at the very beginning. They busted out 2 tries right from the jump. So who knows, maybe Cincinnati will catch some of that vibe and we'll see some of their strings of play and phases start to string something together.
And what we've been seeing today inside of all of these Midwest Championship matches is a team having to turn it on or the time is going to run out on them. With less than 20 minutes to go, being down by 18 points at a time like this is worst case scenario. But the only way to change is they have to score right now, really soon, in order to help their chances later in this game. But they have to get some points on the board.
They've got to get possession as well. But the Bombers have the ball in the scrum. It's very stable, so they maintain possession here. Beeks moves it out. They get it through the centers, and now they've got it in the wings' hands. They're on the sideline. This defense, this corral defense for the Wolfhounds, caused a lot of mess. The Bombers. Forwards now hit it on the edge. Albert, the try scorer, he maintains possession of the ball. Pressure defense comes in for the Bombers, but they're able to make something. Pressure is on now for them. The number 9, he gets it. Referee might have seen something a little bit different, though. He might have been offsides from the kicker.
Oh, whoa. We almost might have seen the play of the day right there. I mean, the communication, inside talk to, hey, get it in, kick it in the middle, get it inside. The hands to get it all the way to the outside. But yeah, he never really found, I don't know. Nah,
From that angle, it's like a forward pass.
He's
like, I don't know what it is.
He's a tad forward,
Yeah.
just a drippy poo.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it nullified probably the play of the day for Cincinnati. Look at the step he's at the end, off or not, and now Cincinnati getting the ball in the touch inside of their 50, attacking 50. As I said before, Cincinnati has to get some points on the board right now, or their season will come to an end right where they stand.
A whole lot is going on in this Midwest D1 Championship. The Wolfhounds go ahead and hit the middle pod. Line out is fielded cleanly, so they take it right into the heart of the Bombers, but a gap was open there for Mikanich, so he gets some go forward going. They've got some numbers to work it out wide, but Karamoudi, he's got to go ahead and take it in. St. Louis fanning out their defense, trying to give a unified wall. Bringing down players, though. They're trying to get over that breakdown. Referee allows a counter ruck, but Day scoops up the ball. He's going to continue to use that leg drive and that fend. Right here, Karamoudi, he moves it to his center. It goes back into his hands. He loops around, tries to give an offload. He does, gets it to the number 14, and then he pops it back inside to whose number is that? It looks like that's the number 15, that fullback, Baker. He's going to go ahead and get some points on the board. That's exactly what the Wolfhounds needed. A shout out to this player. That was important.
Baker, a Cincinnati born and bred, high school, club, and college rugby in Cincinnati, Ohio, and doing what he can to get Cincinnati back in this game. I said they needed points as soon as possible, and through desperation, keeping a ball alive, working as a team. If the pass is bad, we keep it going. And look at that, around the corner, backflip to Wendell, and Wendell gives the inside pass. And with the conversion that is good, Cincinnati cutting into the lead, now down 11, with an opportunity to maybe get back in this game with just outside of 10 minutes, just around 15 minutes to go. Great inside ball from Wendell, but the continuity from Cincinnati is what they needed now. But it doesn't stop here. They have to do more. They still have an uphill battle to climb against a St. Louis team who has looked all bit of unbeatable at moments. Can they add another 11 points to tie this game and take a lead late in the second half?
Work rate is definitely always rewarded. It's one of my favorite things about rugby. So the Wolfhounds now have the work rate, but they also put themselves under pressure in situations like this. Looks like referee has something to say, though. It's a high tackle, even though the poach looked pretty good. So that's going to go in favor of St. Louis.
Oh, my goodness. My man took a punch to the chin, just trying to retrieve the ball. Great call from the sir. The poach was clean, but unfortunately, the tackle wasn't. And Cincinnati, again, another penalty, giving them space. Another penalty from St. Louis. The mistake St. Louis didn't make the entire game. They seem to be bunching up together, making compound mistakes. Can Cincinnati close this lead even more?
Very smart, patient play coming in from the Wolfhounds will get them rewarded with a bunch of good ball movement coming in from the backs. This is our try scorer, Baker. Baker gives a fend. Baker's got some speed. He's just got to beat Albert. He gives it to Wendell, who gives him the pass before. Oh, and the heartbreak for Wendell. But what a play for the Wolfhounds.
And Wendell looks like he's complaining of taking a shot to the face. But look at this Cincinnati side. Now they're playing with full space. Out the back from Jay to the Rizzo. Inside handoff. Could you please not touch me? I am baking right now. I am cooking. Gives it to Wendell. Wendell tries to beat Nick around the corner, but unfortunately gets bottled up. But they flip the field. Can they hold defensively and keep St. Louis on this end of the field?
Albert has to lean completely over to the right-hand side. The ball was definitely not straight going to the other team, but he snatches it. Maul play, though, is underway. Things are getting really tight and messy in there. Referee is calling for an advantage because somebody came in from the side, and this is exactly what got them that try earlier. It's the fact that they've got this beautiful rolling maul. Possible other advantage is given. So now play will continue on, but who wonders if they're going to go ahead and gain it. The number 15, he's making his way there. That's going to be Schumann. Schumann gives an over-the-top pass to the number 14. They're all the way down back to this end. Snatches the ball, though, out of thin air. Advantage was well gained for the Bombers. So now St. Louis can go ahead and attack out. Day gives a little bit of a dummy, keeps it himself, though. Ball ends up getting knocked on.
What a back and forth battle. Darian, I am getting dizzy. The tennis match that we're seeing, left and right, back and forth. The length of the field for Cincinnati, just for St. Louis to return serve and go back down the field. A break in the center of the field, making moves, trying to get around the corner, but can't. And he gets it away, bringing in 3 defenders. Unfortunately, a knock happens just outside the 5-meter line. And now Cincinnati has to go again the length of the field in order to add points to dwindle down this deficit they're under. And I like a good show and go from Day. I like that show and go.
Exactly. My favorite thing about both players is that they let the ball do the work. You don't see a lot of people using the ball as a diversion factor, and when you do it, it gives you a lot of leverage. And as I say that, the ball ends up getting caught underneath the scrum after a penalty from not driving straight against the Bombers. Kara Moody with the golden boot. He's going to go ahead and kick. And that'll be right around 30 meters.
And again, the table is set. Mistakes by St. Louis is giving Cincinnati breath. It's breathing life into the lungs of the Cincinnati team, who 15 minutes ago might have just been down and out, conceding a Midwest championship. But no, Cincinnati will not go quietly into the night as they throw in for the lineout.
10 minutes to go in this D1 championship for the Midwest. Everything to play for here as we see the minutes dwindle away for Cincinnati. Wendell Whitehead, he almost gets to set himself up for a possible other try, but a forward pass called by the Sir.
And, you know, with everything that's happening in this game, the referee has absolutely no effect on it. He is calling this game exactly how it is. He's doing an excellent job controlling the game, doing an excellent job going with the flow of the game. He's taken his licks and gotten back up. This referee is a part of this Midwest D1 championship. And unfortunately, he called a forward pass on Cincinnati as they had a chance around the corner. Now, the dangerous St. Louis, Nick Feeks, set up for a set piece in attacking mode, in attacking situation. Can they get through and score on this set piece to basically put the game away with less than 10 minutes to go?
Referee having to talk about the scrum. Making sure that all players are on the same page after both teams have gotten some penalties for not driving straight. Scrum now is underway. Both teams holding strong at the front row. Everybody stays up, and then Albert is going to go ahead and find some gaps there. The standout player, he gains a lot of meters for the Bombers. Feeks has got it. Feeks almost gets caught. Feeks finally does get caught.
12 out. 2 more 12.
And Hunfield making a lot of big tackles. He comes across. Massive low hit committed by the Wolfhounds, pins them back even farther. Albert tries to right that. It doesn't get much ground. Trying to move it now around the hinge. A sea of blue ending up on top of the Bombers. They've got some space to work it out to the right. Feeks tried to spot a little gap. Looks like an advantage, though, comes out for an offsides call. They're continuing now to press on. The Wolfhounds are under a lot of pressure. There's a buildup coming in. Feeks goes ahead and he wings it out to the winger. Winger is waiting for the support to come, so he maintains his weight and contact.
Coming back for 20 blue offside. Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and bring it back for that original infringement committed by the Wolfhounds. And time is not a friend to the boys in blue.
Do you take the points here, Darian? Do you take the additional 3, make it 35-21, 2 try, both converted tries, and it will basically extend and give them an opportunity where the game will be completely out of reach almost, but they'll go for this. They'll go for the sideline with less than 5 minutes to go. I believe 4 minutes to go in this game. Incredible scenes, Darian. Incredible scenes.
Time's
Both
off.
teams
Injury
fighting
goal.
tooth and nail, trying everything they can. But from the 10-minute mark to about the 40th minute mark, 50th minute mark, going into the second half, it was all St.
We've got 4
Louis.
minutes left.
Cincinnati has found themselves, has found resurgence, and now look like a
Time
team
is off.
with fight. Less than 4 minutes to go. I said it once, I said it again. They have to score immediately.
Hey, Eric, we've got 30 seconds
have to
decide if you
score
can stay on the field or
immediately.
if you're safe to move.
21-32. That's a massive deficit. It comes down to only having 4 minutes left, so that's 11 points.
Hey, Jack, take the front. I'll go time one from here.
It means that you have to make
Not yet.
3
I'll go time
scores. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's a lot of points that they're going to have to rack up against a very sound defense in the
Time is on.
Bombers. Now they're going to go ahead and have a line out right at the 5. Find it in Albert. Albert's so
Keep it
good
up,
under
off the
pressure.
leg, off the leg.
Ball comes in though. They're continuing to drive
the ball. Keep
forward.
it
They
rotating.
are swarming over the top. They look like ants. They're working together. There we go. That is a massive play for the St. Louis Bombers. They go ahead and get some more points on the board against the Wolfhounds, and it just looks like we might be looking at our D1 Midwest champion land.
I believe with that maul, with that surge, with that bit of team work, we have crowned our Midwest men's D1 champion. That shows that this St. Louis team has everything. They can play with ball in hand. They can play the width of the field. They can play physical in the middle. And when it's set piece time, their forwards can latch, work together, and drive a team over to not only win the Midwest, but to pull the heart out of the Cincinnati Wolfhound squad, who fought valiantly up into this point.
Ball goes up, but flags stay down. So we're at 21-37. We've got about less than a minute to go between the matchup between the Wolfhounds and the Bombers, but the Bombers just set off, and you can see what it means to them. That was a massive play because it definitely just sealed the deal for them. You can see the looks of disappointment on the Wolfhounds' face as we get into this last minute of play. A lot of pressure tries to come in from the Wolfhounds, but they're unsuccessful. All they've got to do now is maintain possession, no wayward passes. Feeks now has the ball in hand, but they're going to go ahead and try and run it. They really got a point to prove here. Feeks cuts back inside, gives a looping play to Schumann, who does a little switch, tries to keep the ball in. They do. It's knocked on.
Offsides. Offsides. They got smacked backwards to a foot, right? Could be wrong. The game is in hand. St. Louis with a commanding 16-point lead. We are into the 80th minute. We are into 80th minute. It seems as though this St. Louis team is going to take the title for the Midwest as time dwindles down. I would love to give a shout out to Cincinnati, who fought valiantly, who never gave up, showed us something about themselves late into the half. Good job from St. Louis, though, for doing what's necessary to rip the heart out of the Cincinnati squad. And that Cincinnati attack hit, big hit in the middle of the field.
Massive hit coming in. The number 15 keeps it, flicks it back inside. It goes out of bounds, though. Referee has his hand up, trying to figure out what the call is going to be. There was a lot of chaos that happened there.
Time's off. Kyle, did you happen to see the contact right there? Okay.
It's just showing 15 grams. Tucked.
Yeah, tucked his shoulder. Yeah, penalty only. Thank you. You said 15?
Look at this hit.
Yeah.
No
it's not,
real
sorry.
rap.
MJ,
Yeah.
the dangerous
That's the
contact to
conversation
chest
they're
because there's
having.
no
You see
wrap,
Winston in pain.
and it's a penalty only right here. We're going to time off. There's 30 seconds left.
As he goes in, arms up, it looks like he gets his right arm around. He's grabbing on his leg. Left arm doesn't really get a good squeeze, but that looks like a wrap. It looks like a great opportunity to make a tackle, just bounced away.
By the injured player.
Penalty only,
I've got
but you
time
can
off,
see after
so he
that
can be
hit,
attended to.
Cincinnati player wincing in pain, still down on the field. And man, what a show for the St. Louis team. But let's clap it up for Cincinnati's number 9, who took the shot, Andrew. From Dayton, former Air Force flight controller. Unfortunately taking a shot.
Dangerous.
We'll go ahead and take a stroll off. We're glad to see him up and walking, but
Tackle! The way
fast recovery. Cincinnati are able to field the ball. They keep it in play. Albert comes up and makes a big hit. Continuing now to work it wide. Day cuts back inside. Day gives a looping play to his number 21. Continuing now to work it through the hands. It's Karamoudi. Karamoudi gives it to Rizzo. Rizzo almost gets a little bit too far. Day picks it up from the back. Number 8 now trying to find his way over the try zone. He's close. They're knocking at the door. They've just got to maintain possession here. They're under a lot of pressure. The number 3 gets around. The number 3's got it. Trying to bully his way over. That's a try for the Wolfhounds. And that's just sheer heart. That's determination.
And unfortunately, it's just a little too late. Cincinnati surging together. Big man, get your hand off me, running right at Nick Feeks. And unfortunately, it is not a good time for Nick. Nick takes a shot. Cincinnati bringing the deficit down, but unfortunately, with no time left on the clock, our St. Louis as your Midwest D1 champions.
Karamoudi, he goes ahead and he gets that conversion. It is now at 28-37. St. Louis end up on top. They are your D1 Midwest champions for the men's division here at Chicago Blaze Stadium. Lance said this was probably our best match all day. The competition between these two sides was impeccable. Sometimes the lack of discipline and the emotions kind of ran high in this match, but in rugby, who's to say that that doesn't happen to the best of us? Well, what are your final thoughts on this matchup within the men's D1?
The team that played cleaner won, but that first 10 minutes gave me indication that this was going to be a great match, and it definitely lived up to the bill. Congratulations to Cincinnati on an amazing season, unfortunately falling short in the Midwest Championship. And congratulations to St. Louis, who now sit in the semifinals for the D1 National Championship and an opportunity to make a legacy. Congratulations to those guys.
That performance was very impressive. The Bombers absolutely showed out. They were just impeccable with the timing, and we talked time and time again about their anticipation. It's almost like they knew what was going to happen before. Their connectivity whenever it came to play. Rizzo, though, we talked about him throughout the whole match. Big shout out to him as well as the centers and the fly half. Because of plays like this, they really stayed in it till the end, Lance. But let's talk about, again, the performance and the determination and the grit that both teams showed us.
Yeah, I believe that St. Louis had 2 or 3 players who made all the difference in the world. Fullback Chris Schumann from South Africa, who's also scared of Nick Feeks at practice. Excuse me, did a lot of good work for his team over the day. And I just believe the players that needed to shine for the St. Louis team definitely stepped up. The team had great defense, which really is a sign that they might be one of those teams that you really have to worry about going into these national semifinals in the spring. But we'll figure it out in May. A long wait before they find themselves fighting for a national championship, this St. Louis side. But between now and May, we can see how much they can refine and bring this team even closer together to compete for the glory of a national championship.
there's anything that can be talked about here, it's that this match was ruthless till the end. Dramatic, the drama kept on coming because of massive hits, these big collisions, players working on and off the ball. It just continuously was a set matchup. The referee even taking some of the contact and making us all look unathletic with his little roll up over the top. Players that just continued to string things together, no matter the disappointment that they faced throughout. There was pain. There was a lot of laughs. It looks like from this angle, everybody's happy to be here. We've got Rob down though to celebrate with the St. Louis Bombers, your Midwest D1 champions.
We're here with the Midwest champion, St. Louis Bombers! And we got the captain, MJ Spangenberg, here. MJ, how about the performance by your boys from the Lou?
It was outstanding, Rob. It took the whole season for us to get where we wanted to be, but it was a great pleasure and a great treat to get there at the end. Very happy with everyone.
And hey, how about this? You guys were second in sevens in the nation, and now you guys are tuning up, getting ready to put pressure to make it big for the championship in D1 Nationals.
Oh, yeah. After last year, yeah, we came second here last year, which was gut-wrenching for us. So to come back this year, second in sevens, but to pull it off in 15s, yeah, it's a great treat with the fellas.
100%. And with the trophy right here, Midwest champion, St. Louis Bombers right here, boys. Way to go! One more. Emmanuel Albert, come on over. We got the Swift Media player of the match, D-Man Emmanuel Albert. Congratulations, mate. Way to play, brother. Way to go.
A big thanks to the teams and coaches for giving us these matches, Rugby Co. for their gear and support and promotions, Chicago Blaze for giving us a facility, to our sirs who worked time in and time out to give us a wonderful match, Next Level Rugby crew, the administrators, everybody who made this happen. Thank you to you, Brian Ginty. Big thanks to Next Level Rugby for giving us the ability and trusting us to do this. Thanks to our veterans as well. Happy Veterans Day to one and all. Our selfless protectors who stay with us. Lance Kavanaugh, the founder, CEO of Great American Rugby. Always a pleasure to work with you. I'm Darian Lovelace. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us here on Next Level Rugby. Until next time.